welcome to another Maximum Pickle review. It has been a very long time because we've been busy actually airsofting and not chairsofting, contrary to popular belief. However, we've been busy playing with new guns and better understanding airsoft, and now it is definitely time to reflect back on some of those things that we've learned, as well as on these beautiful, beautiful pieces of artwork and machinery, or whatever you want to consider them. So this here is KWA Mark II professional training pistol. It is a take on the M1911 design using the NS2 gas system they've developed. It is basically a gas blowback pistol that kicks some serious ass, and I personally love it. It costs about $165. It's got a full metal slide, full metal frame. Everything else on this gun is completely metal, aside from these grips, which are ivory. I understand that they look like shit, but I am intending to replace them. However, some shipments have gone AWOL, and I won't get into it, but I do want to replace them with black grips, don't worry. Normally, the outer barrel, all the way up to this right here, is plastic, and it would have an orange tip that is painted on. That is because KWA has decided to take precautions with all of their new pistols since the M9 PTP, because when they had a metal barrel on the M9 PTP, the metal barrel conflicted with the NS2 design, which was using plastic parts, and it would basically break parts. And since then, they have started incorporating a plastic outer barrel with all of their guns just to make sure that that doesn't happen again. While that worked for the M9 design, it doesn't need to be there for the 1911 or USP or like all these other designs. So on GI, or probably a lot of other sites too, you can buy the metal outer barrel as a separate add-on. Now, I need to warn you that that is not an easy upgrade to do. You are putting your gun at serious risk for damage if you don't know how to do it properly, and it does void your warranty. Sometimes you can get one and they do the machining just a little bit wrong, and the inner barrel may not fit through. There's all kinds of modifications that you may have to do, so it's not an easy procedure. I need to warn you about that. But you have to admit, that finish looks way better than it does with the piece of crap orange tip. Not to mention, it's a metal barrel, so the slide action sounds, looks, feels much better. So, other features that it's got that maybe not all 1911s do. You've got a skeletonized trigger, which is a very nice trigger pull. It's pretty light, but not too light. You've got a slide catch here, which functions very nicely. It's very durable. It's also your takedown lever, of course. You've got a Picatinny rail right here, which is kind of milled out a little bit to maybe save on weight or whatever. It just looks cool. You do not have an ambidextrous slide release, which is kind of standard for 1911. However, you do have the ambidextrous safety, which works very nicely on this side. So if you're a lefty, you can use the safety, which is cool. No ambidextrous magazine release, only on this side, which may be a downside for some, but remember, you're dealing with a 1911. That's what it's supposed to do. Your hammer is all metal. It is also skeletonized. It does have a full cock and half cock feature, so when you have it in the half cock mode, it's basically another kind of safety, because with that, even now, you can't pull the trigger, you can't fire the weapon. But if you pull it back all the way again, you can fire it. So, since this is a KWA pistol, you can use green gas or propane in your gun, which is nice, because green gas, as we all may know, is not that cheap, and it isn't as powerful, blah blah. Obviously, it is convenient to have that silicone oil inside it already, but I mean, hey, you're saving a lot of money with the propane, and you're getting a lot more power for your money. So, that aside, the other features this gun has are, let's see, there's white dots on the iron sights. Very nice for target acquisition. I love it. You can adjust this rear sight. You can move it, side to side. The front sight does not adjust, although I believe there is a way to take it out. I'm not really sure. These sights are both metal as well. All of these trademarks, which, I mean, they're not real. They're KWA and 6mm. I believe they are simply painted on, not laser engraved or any crazy stuff like that. But other than that, let's see, that pretty much covers the gun. performance-wise, this thing's shooting about 350 or 330 feet per second on 0.2 gram BBs and propane. Depending on your gas, depending on the temperature, of course, that is going to change because it is a gas gun. Gas guns are very susceptible to weather. Also, of course, using green gas and propane is a different pressure as well. That's also going to change it. Accuracy is pretty good. I don't know how other pistols stack up, perhaps. I've handled some friends' WeTech pistols. I am not impressed. They feel much less well built, and they simply don't seem to have as good of internals. They're not as reliable, blah. I mean, the complaints go on. The magazines leak. With this, the accuracy is what you should expect out of a pistol. You're obviously not going to be sniping with this thing, but at any reasonable pistol distance, you're going to be hitting your targets pretty much dead on. The hop-up is very nice, very adjustable. It is inside the chamber here. I don't know if we can really show it. It's difficult to see, but it's got a little sprocket kind of gear deal that you have to turn with a special tool that we've got right here. You stick it in there and turn it. It's kind of hard to illustrate here, but the point is that hop-up is very effective. You can get those BBs to go straight up if you really want to. Let's see, the magazine holds 14 rounds. It does have a locking feature. It's all metal except for this bottom plate. You've got metal lips. That's a nice feature to have, so you won't be breaking your feed lips. It is using the NS2 gas system, which, if you're not familiar with, is awesome, because with one fill of, let's say, green gas or propane, doesn't really matter, as long as it's not really cold outside, you're going to get at least 2 magazines worth of BBs out of one charge of gas. So that makes it very efficient, and it's still going to maintain relatively consistent FPS and accuracy and all that good stuff. I use 0.25 gram BBs currently because it offers the most consistency. I'm using these Umarex 0.25 gram BBs. They're biodegradable. They seem to do pretty good. I mean, I can't really necessarily give you a grouping number, but it does well in combat. That's what I know. I have gotten 2 more magazines with this gun over here. We've got this one, which came with it. You can hear the cooling rod came loose, and then here's the other one. But this is my gun. I also want to show you, this is my friend Sean's gun. It is a Mark IV PTP with the OD lower. It is basically identical. I won't go into too much detail about it, but he also has the metal outer barrel, and he's got, let's see, he's got 2 magazines over here. Otherwise, I mean, for all intents and purposes, these are the exact same guns. They just have a few different features. As far as I know, it has done well. Until lately, there have been some issues which we will elaborate on in a later review or later comparison video. Aside from that, you know, I really like this gun, actually. The one major beef I have with it is the fact that this front sight post does not have a white dot. That really gets to me, because in combat it is really nice to have that third white dot. Makes target acquisition a lot nicer. Other than that, pretty cool gun. I do enjoy it. So that pretty much does it for the KWA 1911 PTPs. These are some fantastic pistols at a pretty good price. $165 is not bad considering what you're getting. These are some very, very nicely performing guns at a pretty reasonable price, and they're very reliable. We will elaborate on that again in a comparison video about these two, and until then, we will see you later.